Manufacturers that bring new products to market must consider the various environmental product regulations that might apply. Often, this step is to secure compliance with programs like RoHS, REACH, POP halogen-free, TSC-APBT, or California Proposition 65. The ISO 17025 standard provides the most recognized practices for ensuring accuracy in such tests. The ISO 17025 standard lays out general requirements for the competence of testing and calibration laboratories. These standards fall into four major categories: structural requirements, resource requirements, process requirements, management system requirements. Structural requirements of ISO 17025. The laboratory should be a legal entity. Personnel should identify ISO 17025 standards as a priority and work to fulfill the requirements. The laboratory must document all activities performed. Procedures should comply with client requests and regulatory authorities. Resource requirements of ISO 17025. The laboratory must have all resources required to perform testing. Staffing. The laboratory must employ qualified personnel to conduct analytical procedures. Managers should document evidence of competence under the laboratory management system. Staff should receive regular training and skills refreshers. Relevant training documents should be archived. Facilities and environmental conditions. The operating conditions in a laboratory should not affect the validity of results. Staff must be able to access methods for controlling humidity, light, or particle contamination where appropriate. Stable ambient conditions are a primary goal. Personnel should take periodic measurements to verify a proper working environment. Equipment per ISO 17025. The laboratory must have access to proper equipment. Industry standard instrumentation, paired with appropriate software, is a minimum requirement for data analysis and obtaining valid results. Periodic maintenance and calibration of laboratory equipment are also required, especially when the reported results might become affected by the accuracy of measurements. Metrological traceability. This term defines the property of a measurement result whereby the result can be related to a reference through a documented unbroken chain of calibrations, each contributing to the measurement uncertainty. Externally provided products and services. The laboratory should document any external products and services used for site maintenance. Third-party organizations that perform any calibration process and measurements must be duly qualified. Highly sensitive instruments may require additional annual maintenance by the manufacturer. Process requirements of ISO 17025. A laboratory will execute most efficiently when operated under guidelines for planning and performing each step in a workflow. ISO 17025 contains process requirements that organizations can use to define which approach they follow to attain their results. These guidelines fall into several categories: review of requests, tenders, and CONTRACTSA lab should have a proper procedure for processing client requests. This procedure should exist in a form that is understandable to the client. Additionally, the lab should ensure they have the necessary equipment to execute a contract before promising to fulfill it. Personnel must be prepared, if requested, to disclose and describe the analytical methods used to the client. Selection, verification, and validation of methods. A lab should provide analysis using those methods that align with industry best standard practices. Labs should always use the most current and appropriate methods for a given analytical process. Sampling ISO 17025. A laboratory should follow a uniform sampling plan during the analytical process. A lab should design its sampling methodology to align with industry standard practices. Complaints. A laboratory should have a structured system for receiving and recording complaints. Nonconforming work. Consider a new product submitted for REACH SVHC analysis. Testing shows some species with more than 0.1% at the article level. Personnel must communicate this discrepancy with the client by reporting the results. In fact, the laboratory should define a system for handling nonconformities that might occur in the workflow. Evaluation of measurement uncertainty. A laboratory should evaluate any contributions to uncertainty, ensuring the validity of results. The laboratory should have a system to evaluate the validity of results obtained using their equipment. Control of data and information management. The laboratory should document and protect client results from unauthorized access. Handling of test or calibration items. A laboratory should have a procedure for correctly receiving, storing, and returning samples and equipment. Technical records. A laboratory should maintain organized archives of past analyses. They should contain sufficient and pertinent information across all stages of a procedure and must be traceable to previous document versions. Reporting of results. They should include all information about the analysis and follow standard best practices for reporting and formatting. Management system requirements of ISO 17025. A lab that seeks to deliver all of these requirements needs to be structured and well organized. Best practices involve constructing a set of routines that constitute a management system with planning, execution, verification, and adjustment activities. Documentation and control of documents. Management should produce policy documents that align with the management system. ISO 17025 internal audits. The lab should plan regular internal audits to ensure that policies are respected and aligned with the management system. Control of records. The laboratory should have a structure for archiving and accessing recorded documents. Actions to address risks and opportunities. The laboratory should conduct risk assessments for relevant lab activities. Improvement of the ISO 17025 management system. The laboratory should have proper channels for receiving feedback from clients. Corrective actions. The laboratory should take immediate action when analysis results are invalid. The laboratory should have protocols for finding the causes of any discrepancies and tracing the errors. Management reviews under ISO 17025. The laboratory should review the management system periodically to ensure the effectiveness of policies and procedures.